You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got a couple of things involving the CBA. We got Nneka Ogwumike out here, the president of the Players Union, sort of running her mouth about the state of negotiations. But we've got something that came out, and I mean, it is fresh out the oven. And guys, I believe this is where they're going to determine whether or not there is going to be a season or at least an agreement anytime soon. We're going to know a lot after Monday, I believe, because the WNBA owners will sit down with Nafesia Collier and Kelsey Plum. Okay, the WNBPA vice presidents, as well as Nneka Ogwumike, the president. Like I said, this is fresh breaking news, front office sports. The WNBA and the Players Union will meet in person in New York City on Monday for the first time since the fall amid stalled CBA negotiations. Talking to reporters at Unrivaled, WNBPA VP Kelsey Plum said she and Nafesia Collier will travel to New York after their teams play each other in Miami on Sunday night. WNBPA President Nneka Ogwumike will be in attendance as well, along with the league's CBA leadership, Labor Relations Committee, and the league and union staff. A source with direct knowledge of the meeting told Front Office Sports. The meeting will also include team owners, but the source declined to say whether all would attend. I am going to be very interested to know whether or not Adam Silver is at this meeting. Quote, I feel extremely excited for the opportunity to be there in person, Plum said. Obviously, with other players that are really invested in this, in the executive committee, then of course the league making a commitment to be there. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. We're meeting together and hopefully we'll have something. Okay, so maybe there is a little movement. Maybe they know there is a little movement on a potential agreement. The WNBPA sent a proposal at the end of December that the league failed to respond to. For more than 4 weeks, the league didn't believe the contents of the union's proposal warranted a response. According to a source familiar with the league's thinking, we all know what those parameters are. Everything is stuck around revenue sharing at a 70-30 split, 30% of gross to the players. The league is saying, no, this is never happening. We will give you net revenue share, but we are not giving you gross revenue share of a league that's never turned a profit. So, it brings me over to the union leader and her comments that she made that just came out earlier this morning about where things are at. All right? Fewer than 100 days remain before the start of the 30th season. Despite that, negotiations between the league and the union remain at a standstill. So, this is what she said, according to an ESPN report. Quote, it is not a constructive way to continue on these negotiations, talking about the fact that the league is not engaging with the players at all, especially considering the timeline we're in. Nneka Ogwumike told Front Office Sports in a phone interview, to give the excuse that our proposal was not adequate is concerning. It's just now concerning? I mean, that proposal's been out there for a month. And it emerged probably at least 2 weeks ago. I would say that the league was making it known that they thought the proposal was basically so ridiculous, it did not warrant a retort, a response. They said, nah, you got to be kidding. In other words, look, they got a response. They got the proposal, and that was the league's way of laughing at it. That it was so ridiculous, they weren't even going to acknowledge it. All right? Right here. The WNBA's reason for not engaging, according to a source familiar with the league's thinking, is the belief that a response wasn't necessary based on the contents of the union proposal. Instead, the league was waiting for, quote, a more realistic proposal from the union. There you go, according to ESPN. That's easy. I mean, look, asking for unrealistic demands by the players is not constructive. Quote, I don't think we're being pressured because of the timeline at the expense of what we're really trying to negotiate. I don't think we're being disrespectful of the time. We know something like this takes time. If we can do it the right way, it will get done in a way that will be something we can be proud of and have a season. That was Agumake. I mean, it's going to take real compromise from the players. I think the league, I could see the league coming off a little more base salary. All right, one could certainly argue against them deserving that, but I could see them coming off of a little more base salary, a little more. Their offer for a league that's never turned a profit is beyond fair. We've gone over the numbers over and over again. Beyond fair. But look, there's a housing issue. Again, as I stated in a video yesterday, you're making $500,000 a year on average with the new CBA. You can't afford to get an apartment. I'm going to tell you, it's things like that is the why the players have greatly lost the majority of the fans. It's like, come on now. You're making a little $500,000 a year. How about the players just averaging what they're averaging now, $100K? You can't get a good apartment on $100K a year? I mean, come on now. I mean, you can find a livable space look, you might not be able to live in New York City or someplace like, or LA. Fans are not going to, we're not going to feel bad for you because of that. All right? You can move out to the middle of the country just like a lot of folks if you get right down to it. It is what it is. Well, we got to live close to the facilities, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Figure it out. Figure it out. Get a roommate. I mean, yeah, all these players are all about shacking up around each other anyway. Split the rent. Upgrade your living situation. Whatever you got to do. But the new proposal, there is no excuse for that housing element even being involved in the entire equation. This is it, folks. They're meeting Monday. Something's going to come out of that. I would assume that the WNBA owners, aka many of them NBA owners, probably going to make an in-person line drawn in the sand of some kind. I think there's a chance they can either have parameters for a deal, or we could be coming out of that meeting on Monday, lockout or a strike. But Monday's a big deal now. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.